The Mod 2 is the second of 2 tests you have to take to get your motorbike licence in the UK and in the EU. It's pretty much like a car driving test and it's all conducted out on public roads. Here are some tips to help you pass your Mod 2. A lot of people think that the Mod 2 is easy compared with the Mod 1 since all you have to do is ride your bike and basically not break the law. But this can be hard to do if you don't have a lot of road experience, like a car licence or by riding a 125 for a bit. The roads are unpredictable, so you might get lucky or unlucky with your test on the day. I'd recommend taking your test at the test centre nearest to where you've done a lot of your training, since you'll be familiar with some of the roads. It shouldn't really matter what centre you do your test at, since in theory you should be able to ride on any road, but seeing familiar sights definitely helps with test nerves. And speaking of test nerves, nervousness is what's going to cause you to make mistakes while you're on your test. This is going to be really personal, but try and find your own mechanism for dealing with nerves and anxiety. It's usually not a good idea to ride if you're feeling very nervous or stressed, but for some people those are just feelings that come with taking tests and with having someone watch you ride. I found that for me, I tried to tell myself that I knew I could ride and all I needed to do was ride for 45 minutes or so and then I'd have my licence. If it didn't go my way on the day, that's fine too because I can always retake the test. It's not that you don't care about the outcome, but it's about recognising that you have options if things go wrong, so all you have to do is relax and ride your bike. Be careful about who you take tips and advice from. You might have noticed that I haven't given any actual riding tips up until now, and that's because I'm not a qualified instructor. I bet that most of us on the internet aren't instructors either, even if people claim to be. I would stick with whatever training and advice your instructor has given you, and don't try to second guess them. They know your riding and the test standard best. Sometimes it will seem like a good idea to take advice from a really experienced rider, but the problem here is if the person's been riding for a really long time, the test standards have likely changed since they did their test. So it might not be bad riding advice, but it might just be different from what your instructor and your examiner are actually looking for. If you don't agree with your instructor or you don't feel test ready, it's more than okay to find a different training school and get another opinion. But there's just too much information on the internet to try and sift through if you're a beginner. Some of the riding advice out there is good, but a lot of it isn't, so stick with whatever your instructor has told you to do. I failed my Mod 2 the first 2 times I took them, both times on roundabouts. Before my third attempt, I jumped in my friend's car and we drove around every roundabout on my test route while he talked me through his reasoning. If there was anything I didn't quite understand, I went home and I looked it up on Google Street View and I studied the roads until I understood them. And that's understanding of them, not just memorising lanes, since your test route will likely be different every time you take it. If you don't have access to a 125 or a car, so you can't personally practice your roadcraft, taking a drive with a friend is a really helpful way to clear up anything you're not sure about. But again, make sure your friend is giving you good advice too, and double check on anything you're not sure with your instructor. If you've already done your CBT and you do have access to a 125, this puts you in a really good position because you can physically go out yourself and practice the test routes or just practice riding on any roads. A 125 will obviously be a lot less powerful than the kind of bike you're going to be taking your test on, but honestly it shouldn't really matter other than the physical size of the bike and the weight, but you should be used to that by the time you take your test because you've probably done a bit of training on your test bike. If you mess something up on your test, don't do anything illegal to correct it. For example, if you end up in a left turn only lane when your examiner told you to go straight, just follow the lane and turn left. They will redirect you eventually. If you suddenly shoot out of your lane and go straight, you'll likely fail your test. Going the wrong way will not fail your test. Looping around a roundabout because you missed your exit will not fail your test as long as you do it safely and legally. I would also recommend not filtering. It's very easy to fail your test when you're filtering because it's just very easy to get things wrong and your examiner 100% will not expect you to. If you get stuck in a bit of traffic, that's perfect because it runs down your test timer without you even having to ride. If you get caught in some really heavy traffic like construction or a road closure, your examiner will likely guide you on what to do next, so avoid filtering unless you're told otherwise. Finally, if you do something on your test and you think you've failed, continue the test as normal anyway. It's so easy to get disheartened and think, what's the point, I've already failed, I might as well just pull over, or I might as well just throw it all away, but there's a chance that your examiner didn't fail you for a mistake you made. You definitely could still pass your test even if you think that you didn't. Also, if the rest of your ride is good, they might let you off for a minor mistake that you made earlier in the test, or if you do end up failing, at least you use the test as a practice opportunity that you can learn from for next time. But mainly, don't overthink it. If you're test ready, you're test ready, and you probably wouldn't have been put in for your test if you're not test ready. So close this tab, stop watching videos on how to pass your Mod 2, just go out there and ride like you know you can. Good luck with your test, safe riding, and I'll see you guys in the next one.